It's 8:31. We'll come to order. We have a roll call, please.
John Regheimer.
Here.
Stacy Hessel. Here. Tom Duffy. Here. Steve Carrianen. Here. Randy Newman. Here. You have a quorum.
Excellent. Pledge allegiance. Please read the certification compliance.
This meeting was noticed to the media and the public as required by Section 19.84 of Wisconsin statutes.
Thank you. The meeting agenda is set. Do we have anybody for public comment? No? We'll consider approval for minutes of the previous meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Stacy Hessel, second by Tom Duffy. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Minutes approved. Sawyer County Agricultural Fair Association report.
Rick's not here.
Right. University of Wisconsin Extension Department. I was looking for the second month of the third quarter. I thought, we're here. Welcome.
No volume? There is no volume for the speaker.
Now you can work the crowd. Walk around.
Don't tempt me. All right. How about now, Linda? Can you hear me?
It's good, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're cooking with gas now, I think. So I will, again, my name's Lori with UW Extension, and Ariga and Donna are here this morning. Ariga has a few things to update you on, but Donna is going to do a little presentation for you. I think it's been a while since you've heard from Donna. So as a reminder, Donna is also Winter Public Library, but today she has her hat on for Extension and has been with us for a few years now and is excited to share with you her programming from Positive Youth Development, not just 4-H, but she'll tell you all about it, okay?
Good morning. So I'm here, like she said, on behalf of 4-H and Positive Youth Development. Sawyer County is one of the counties that has a 4-H educator that has a dual position. So I'll talk a lot about 4-H, and then I'll talk about Positive Youth Development, but really it's all together. It's community youth development, getting out there, teaching skills to youth, but also working with organizations and partners in creating youth voice. So Wisconsin has over 26,000 4-H members, and it's the biggest youth development organization in the United States. So a lot of people, when they see me out in the community at open houses or at community functions, and they see 4-H, the first thing that goes to their head is animals and farms. And that's great. That is what 4-H originally was created with. But over the years, over the century, it has evolved into way more than just animals. Our animal program is important. You will see us at the Sawyer County Fairgrounds. We are separate from the fair. A lot of times they think it's 4-H is the fair. We are just thankful that the fairs, the county fairs, allow 4-H to go in and demonstrate and show off what the youth have learned all year long in 4-H. So 4-H is a program that helps young people develop leadership skills, communication, and critical thinking skills. The program's name comes from the first letter of the organization's original model, head, hearts, hand, and health. And you can see there's kind of a wheel up there, and I do have copies if you would like a copy for later. These are the skills that we target when we're part of a 4-H program. And what I love about 4-H is a membership enrollment type program. You enroll as a member, but it also has evolved into including all community youth. So you don't really have to be part of 4-H to participate in some of the activities. However, in order to qualify for state and national involvement in those areas, as well as scholarships that we provide, and some of our high-risk activities like the animal projects, you are required to participate in 4-H. 4-H, so as you can see, like I said, hands, we work on giving and working and giving back to the communities. Last year in Sawyer County with our clubs and our youth, they have volunteered in the community over 716 hours. Health, we talk about having a positive lifestyle, dealing with stress, character building. Head, we talk about using your critical thinking skills, learning to learn, problem solving, service learning, goal setting. And then heart, of course, is just your social impact and conflict resolution, sharing, having empathy, and nurturing relationships. So it involves quite a bit. I know I became a 4-H volunteer when my youth were in 4-H. And when I accepted this position 3 years ago, I literally thought I knew what 4-H was, but you get into the layers and really deep. And it's great that we are, again, connected to the university, and we're able then to take their ideas, the curriculum, the professional development, and bring those out into the communities. So just to add a little bit more, I know in our quarterly reports, it kind of gave you an idea of what we worked on this last quarter. I do work with local clubs and local volunteers, but I also, we connect with other areas too, other counties. Sawyer and Rusk, Washburn, Burnett, and Barron County is what makes up Area 2. And so the 4-H educators or the educators in those counties work together to bring youth development to the communities. I just want to look at we have a flower on there, and that's what we call our youth thriving. I just want to get my notes up here quick. 4-H focuses on 4 areas: the developmental relationships, college and career ready, also life and leadership skills, and equity, so that we are inclusive to everyone, regardless of their economic status, their culture, their demographics. So we try to involve everybody. So at the bottom of this presentation here, we have what we call the developmental content, which is the 4-H program, and it does the sparks. We create belonging, sense of belonging, relationships, engagement. So those you get through the 4-H programs that we offer. How we do that is we do have those that are enrolled members that meet monthly at clubs. And then they develop their sparks, so they have project meetings. I do also go into schools, and we do work with classroom teachers, after-school program. We build community clubs. So we have very different ways of connecting with the youth. It isn't just those that meet once a month at a club meeting. I've also worked with the public libraries and help working with them, building partnerships with them, and creating programming there as well. So if youth are part of that developmental context, the whole goal is that they're thriving, and then they become social, emotional, and cognitive learning happens. This is where they get the growth mindset. They're open to challenge and discovery. We do what we call a do, reflect, apply, which is a great life skill. You guys probably do that yourself and you don't even realize it. You find something that you want to do, you apply the skills that you know to try to learn something or to do something, and then you reflect always, whether you were successful at it or maybe you weren't successful, which is okay, but what do we do differently next time? These are kind of the skills that we try to get their mindset in to challenge them to grow. And then as you get up onto the flower, you have the plant or the leaf part of it. And this is where they need to have positive academic attitude, social competence, personal standards. We always work on connecting with others. This is extension. That's what we do, is connect with the community, connect with others. We have them develop personal responsibility. And like I said, contribution is a huge thing. Come back into your communities, into your area, work with other youth, with other organizations, and have that give back mindset, which then when you get to the flower, which is of this whole piece here, your long-term outcomes. This is where, when they're an adult, what we're hoping by the time of their 4-H career is their academic and vocational success, civic engagement, employability and economic stability, and happiness and well-being. Because if you have all of those skills and all of those needs met there, you'll just be an added positive to society. And so that's the whole part of the 4-H thriving model that we have. And like I said, I love my position here at Sawyer County because I'm not just 4-H, I'm also the community youth development and positive youth development. So like I said, I can work with youth that are not enrolled in 4-H. The third visual here is just really a small snippet of some of the data that I have for Sawyer County. I've only been in this position since, well, actually February of 2022. So it's been 3 years already. It's gone really fast. But this is my 25th year as an educator. 22 of those other years were in the public school setting. So our enrollment, you can see before COVID, of course, that affected all of our programming because our programming is mostly in person with some Zoom options, but really that face-to-face connection is important. We had 66 members in 2019, and then you see slowly that dip down. And my first year in, I think we did really good with getting some of our older youth back in and recruiting new youth because through the COVID years, we couldn't meet in person. It was virtual. Of course, technology was a barrier. I know that you've done really well at increasing broadband ability and accessibility in Sawyer County, but at that time, it was very difficult. And they couldn't meet in person. Showing at the fair wasn't really an option because of some of the regulations with COVID. However, we're slowly increasing, and a lot of our memberships are first-time members, and I would say it was 60% of our youth this year are all new to 4-H, which doesn't show up there. Our numbers for 2024, 2025 are from the beginning of February. However, just in the last week, we've added a new club at LCO. I've been working very hard at building those relationships with LCO University and Extension there, and we've developed a community club together. So we have more volunteers from there, and we have youth enrolling. My idea or my thought as to where that trend will be is by the end of the year, we will be probably close to 70 enrolled in 4-H. Again, this is just those that enrolled, not the actual number of people that we service, because we have youth that attend certain events that are 4-H events but are not enrolled in 4-H. Some outreach opportunities. We have library program that we do, after school program, classroom clubs. I do go in and do, in the classroom, some 4-H work with FoodWise and do community or collaborative things in classrooms. We have Area 2 family events, so we include not just our county, but if we reach out and connect with all the families in the area surrounding counties as well. We offer project days, open houses that we attend. And then this is where your trips and experiences for 4-H youth that are enrolled. We have youth that go to regional, state, and national trips and experiences. If you're enrolled in 4-H, you qualify to go to those. And we are very fortunate. We have a local leaders board, which is made up of 4-H volunteer leaders, and they have their own funds. As well as last summer, we were awarded $10,000 from the 100 Who Care program to help offset the cost of those trips and experiences so that Sawyer County youth do not have a barrier of it being expensive or expenses to attend. We do offer scholarships and then of course camps. We have day camps for Clover Buds, which is, it says for Clover Buds, it really is targeting those youth for kindergarten through 2nd grade, and then overnight camps, which is 3rd grade through 7th grade, and our 8th through 12th graders are the counselors at those camps. So those are open to everybody. The camps are open for everyone, not just for 4-H youth, but it is a 4-H sponsored or 4-H run camp. Are there any questions about 4-H? Because I can just jump into my PYD part. Maybe you'll have questions about the PYD part. So the other position, it really, I can't tell you that it's 50% this, 50% that is how my position is split. But my other position is positive youth development. I sometimes refer to it as community youth development because it really is how I see this position. One of the things, there are 2 focuses that we have in Sawyer County, and that's civic engagement, getting youth involved in civic engagement. In the past couple of years, it's been working with local youth for Heart of the North. And right now, Heart of the North is kind of revamping. I don't know what it's going to look like this spring, but what my role in that is recruiting youth and training youth about how a bill becomes a law and legislative processes. And then they work with advisors, adult advisors in Heart of the North to identify needs in the community and present those to legislators. So right now, because of, I would say, funding and the adult involvement and time it takes, Heart of the North is reorganizing, should I say. I'm hoping that it'll still be there, but we're trying to come up with creative, less expensive ways to still do the same kind of work. The second thing that I do is community health. So I sit on a Substance Prevention Coalition. It's not really having youth voice on that board, but it is just advocating for youth and how to get youth involved. So part of the job is to do trainings called YAP, which is Youth Adult Partnerships. So I'll work with organizations or work with groups and do a little bit of training of what it's like to work with youth and vice versa. I do the same thing with youth. And then creating a positive collaborative work effort in whatever organization it is. And then we're starting this next year, YAC, which is Youth Advocate for Community Health. So it's working with a group of youth that will identify community needs. They literally work through the whole process of surveying their community, identifying community needs, going through the process, similar of what you do with economic development, but we're doing it with health. How can we fill those needs? What action needs to be taken? And they actually do the action. And it's connecting them with people in the community, leaders in the community, or specialists in the community that will help them along the way. And so it's something that we haven't implemented yet fully, but we have done the background training. We've also have, and I should say we, because it's FoodWise, Kim Clark, your educator here for FoodWise. We're doing this together as a joint effort. We did apply for a grant to help with some of the funding for that. However, I feel that we will move forward with the project whether we have the funding or not, because we started it without knowing that we could apply for a grant. We're very fortunate that there's opportunities out there for us. So we're in the early stages of that implementation, but I think it's a great way for youth to have a little bit of voice of what needs are in the community and learn the process of how to solve those needs. And sometimes what barriers will happen, how to work around those barriers, or go in a different direction. And it's just a lifelong skill. So hopefully someday they'll be in your seat leading our community. And we'd love for them to come back to our own community. And I should say the last thing that I have been working on, we have a few of our 4-H youth that have already graduated, our 4-H alumni, and they're coming back into our community as graduates of 4-H and graduates of local school districts and wanting to give back. And so I have one that I'm mentoring who is currently going to school for agricultural education and wants to come back into the community and develop agricultural education in the local schools. And then she's only working on her bachelor's degree at this point. And then I have one in a master's program that is working on a master's in education, agricultural education, but it's also extension education too. So kind of mentoring. So we have youth that went through our program that want to come back, which is great in a leadership role. So I look in the positive youth development part, 4-H falls under that. And then just as an advocate for youth and working with organizations to get youth involved. So that's really a snippet of tons of layers, like I said, of what we do have. I always end with, if you don't see me in the office, it's not because we're not working, it's because Extension is out in the community. If I'm in the office all the time, I'm not making those connections with the community and working with organizations. That's what there's my little advocacy for my other educators that are in Extension. Do you have any questions? I'm always open for questions, suggestions, or helping making more connections in the community.
Sounds like you're doing a great job. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
If you could just recruit people to take our place, that would be great.
Well, I don't know how Andy feels about it, but it would be nice to have youth on the board at some point. Some counties do. I mean, I'll just plant that seed now. It takes a long time to get to that process, but.
Even if they just want to come and sit in so that they can prepare to take our place.
That's right. I know. You guys have a tough job and it's hard to find people to fill your position. I understand. I'm on a couple of other boards too.
Look at the
Sometimes it's a
townships,
lifelong
the
thing.
school. Look at all of those boards that,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rodriguez has.
Oh,
Good morning, everyone. So I'm just going to summarize what I have on the paper. This is not the only thing, but I have other stuff. I will put it in the next quarter report. I'm too short, I'm sorry. Okay. So this is a grant that we received last year, and it's kind of being delayed with everything that has to be put in place in terms of infrastructure so we can start really working on it. But this focuses on local foods, and it's through NRCS. I know it's going to be probably on hold because of the federal funds freeze, but the work that is being put into it has been a lot of work, and I'm hoping that the results will come to fruition at some point. So the University of Wisconsin, there is a team of experts. They got together, they applied for this grant, and the team actually received 900 something thousand. It's close to 1 million. And then out of these funds, there will be disbursement into different communities that wanted to support this proposal, and LCO was part of it. So LCO will receive some funds out of this federal funding, and there will be someone who will be hired to do a research. I will be kind of helping or working with that person to do that community research based on climate smart agriculture and looking into food sovereignty and crafting some of the research to tribal needs in terms of storytelling, and how does food sovereignty is perceived by local community. What are the needs? What are the methods that can be addressed for those needs? What are the resources that can help address those needs in the community? So this is kind of a starting idea, but we do have funding to do this work. The next one is also focusing on LCO community. This will be an arts project, but it's looking at art through tribal lens. And because, the arts, what we talked about it, the art and science, we don't want to be it just university type of science, but tribal communities or, other communities also have ways of how they approach science. And a lot of times in tribal communities, they historically have been approaching science with their own ways. And we want to look at, through this project, what were those ways? Were they through storytelling? And maybe we can put a person, a science representative from LCO tribal community, and a person who will be an artist to maybe do murals. And this project will support the murals. It would be the fishing or hunting. So how it came historically to be what we know science today in Western lenses, and what it looks for tribal communities, and then display that in a community. So there is funds available for this. Again, this is federal. This will be applied, hopefully, if the federal funds get unfrozen. We'll work on this proposal in April. The idea for this would be having a touristic impact. This would be a destination. How this looks for LCO, how this would look for another tribal community. So by looking at creating this destination and having that science display, again, there is a lot of work that needs to be put in terms of infrastructure. We do need approval from the LCO and the council that, yes, this would be something that they would be interested in. We're just kind of developing some of the ideas and see if we can get the funding for this. But I think in universities supporting, there is a team of people who are working on getting this not only in LCO, but also other tribal communities. And I'll try to see if LCO would be interested to get some of these projects here. So this would be my update and summary of this report. Thank you. If you guys have any questions. Okay, thank you.
Just wanted to follow up on Donna's report, on her comment about youth on the county board. So that's one of those things that I've talked about with Lori a little bit. We worked on that in Rusk County, and I think they don't do it anymore.
Not right now.
Not right now. Washburn County did it for a number of years. Still do? Okay. So that's something you would like to pursue or talk about at a future date, let me know.
What is that, did they run for office, or they mirror here? Or
We
what?
usually do an application process, and the students from you tell who you want for, eligible students, sophomores, juniors, from local high schools. Do an application, extension is usually very good about kind of coordinating all that. And then they would take a seat on the board, you assign them to committees. I'll just say it sounds really easy, and it is kind of to get going, but to keep it going, work with student schedules, keep them engaged. It can be done, and I think it's very
So
useful.
they'd see the process and be
They would see, they participate
learning and
just
observing it.
like a regular county board member does. Counties do it differently, but usually they get a vote, but not the vote doesn't necessarily count towards
The final
the
vote.
final vote.
Okay.
But
Good.
that's something we could pursue if you want. There's plenty of outlines, and the paperwork, so to speak, can be borrowed from other places.
Excellent, thank you. Hayward Lakes Visitors and Convention Bureau.
Good morning. Mindy Simons, Executive Director, Hayward Lakes. We have snow, which is great. Maybe a little too late, but at least it freshened things up and made things a little more rideable, skiable, all of those things. My report is from January. Basically, weather conditions forced us to pivot a little bit on our marketing strategy. We had a small amount of snow that we got, which was enough to coat the lakes, so we could at least change our reporting with Travel Wisconsin for snowmobiles, that they could ride on the lakes. Trails were still closed for the majority of that time. The weekend of January 18th and 19th saw some good motorsports traffic on the flowage, especially with lake riding available there. We worked to push out and share content about trail conditions and cautions, especially with all of the ice heaves on local lakes. So that's been kind of an ever-changing thing over the winter. So we've done a lot of work trying to make sure that the information that we push out is most updated so that people are aware of those things. Ice fishing has been actually extremely good in the area, some of the best in a number of years. So we focused on sharing content on our social media and website that drive the great ice conditions that we've had. It also helped combined with the Crappie Chronicles series that we had filmed in Hayward in December. The first episode aired the first week of January, second episode aired January 20th, and the third episode just aired at the end of January, beginning of February. That's gotten a lot of traction, and the producers of that show actually, we worked out a deal where they made us an ice fishing ad. So we just launched a YouTube ad in the beginning of February to target ice fishing because we had low snow conditions. So we had pulled our other ad that was kind of touting all the snowmobiling. So we made a shift with that. I also appeared twice on the Experience Wisconsin radio show with John Mercure out of Milwaukee, talking about all of the things that you can do without snow, because there actually are a lot of things that you can do here. Hiking's still been great, snowshoeing and the like, but that show airs each Saturday in the Milwaukee, Madison, and Green Bay market. So working on kind of reaching that southeastern and eastern portion of Wisconsin. Our Google Ads campaign is still going strong. We have changed a few keywords to, again, focus on ice fishing and a few things like that that have changed throughout the winter. And that's really about it. I can tell you that obviously with the snow that we got this weekend, could see a lot more sledders out on the lakes, a few more trailers in town, which is exactly what we need right now. Again, I'm sure it's still going to be probably a lower winter than usual, but hopefully better than last year. So all we can do is work with what we have. I will not be here next month. I will actually be at the Wisconsin Governor's Conference on Tourism on the 10th of March. So I will look forward to reporting all of the things that we learn at that conference. And hopefully we'll have some more snow in February and have some good things to report then. So any questions?
I just wanted to make a comment that I spoke with a group of Iowa snowmobilers, and they said they will come up here every year. They love coming up here. They would have came up here whether there was snow or not, because it's more snow than they had down there. So really excited that our community is welcoming all the Iowans.
Yes. Anyone else?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Economic Development Corporation report. They even here?
Well, I don't know who that Catherine is.
They here?
Good morning. Adam Lamore, Executive Director of the Surrey County LCO, Economic
we'll go
Development
back.
Corporation.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It's all good. So a couple things. Andy and myself just got back from the Governor's Economic Development Conference in Milwaukee last week. A lot of good highlights. There's a little bit of concern over the grant freezing the federal government. So there's some hesitations there, but a lot of talk about manufacturing, how strong it is in Wisconsin, how important it is in Wisconsin. Talking about some worker shortages. Always good AI conversation and how to basically how to adopt and get that into our businesses, and we currently don't offer that as an EDC. So just some good topics, kind of seeds to start some other conversations. This past month, our business incubator, as you know or don't know, is kind of a virtual business incubator. So in Sawyer County right now, if you want any help starting a business, if you have a current business and you have a problem, we do offer business consulting services. Those services are typically you reach out to either myself or Mr. Decora, who is the business consultant, and then we will help you with whatever the problem is. We don't really have a home base, and the Travel Plaza, we had some construction at the Travel Plaza across from the casino, was a potential site for us to have a home. That is not a for sure thing, and so there might be other plans for that facility, which kind of leads into the last bullet point I was on my list. Currently, I am writing a grant for a new business development grant through Rural Development, U.S. Department of Ag. That grant I'm going to write is going to be for some infrastructure, or I shouldn't say infrastructure, to purchase a property so that we could actually have a site where we could generate revenue by renting out to possible new businesses. The idea behind that is so we actually have some sort of revenue to sustain what we've created. Currently, we're on the Thrive grant, which is a 2-year, $25,000 a year to operate the business incubator in Sawyer County. So as that runs out, where does that leave us? I don't want to lose what we've built. So hopefully there's grant money available. We're going to apply and see where it goes. But if we could purchase something to give ourselves a home, something that we could accelerate some businesses in Sawyer County, that is the ultimate goal. So that's business incubator talk. And there's a lot of moving parts with that. I also applied for another grant through the state of Wisconsin for more technical assistance to kind of extend on what we've already done. So I'm cautiously waiting to hear on that. Profit Mastery course was held January 8th and 9th, I believe, at the library. We had 9 people sign up. Actually, we had more than that. They let 9 people take the course. Normally, they let 8 people take it. One of our board members took the course, said it was phenomenal. I mean, I get positive feedback on this course every time it's offered. So we'll look to do that in the future. But basically what it does is it's a deep dive into your accounting for businesses, really showing you how to look at the numbers and realistically make changes in your business to increase profits. That's ultimately what it's all about. It's a 2-day class. The other huge part of what I'm currently working on is I've contacted all our sponsors from last year, and we're out raising money for the Sawyer County Economic Development Corporation to help us continue programs and keep on moving this county in the right direction. So I'm thankful for all the support that we get. And currently, if you want to support the EDC, there's information on Facebook on our website. And then you'll probably see some of our board members and myself out and about talking to you about what the EDC does. And then lastly, almost forgot, we've got some video marketing that's going to be coming to light. One is highlighting Sawyer County and why do business in Sawyer County. We have a bid on that, and then we're also going to be doing business highlights coming up in the next month. So hopefully you see that on social media as well. And share it when you do. Any questions?
On the video for why doing business, is that geared towards recreation and manufacturing, or what?
Everything.
Everything, okay.
So I want people, this is what I want. If you want to do, if you're looking at a place to open up a business, or if you're looking at a place, let's just say even build homes, I want people to know what we offer. And I think, tourism is obviously highlighted in most of the marketing for this county, but there's so many other pieces between the healthcare system, the schools, the manufacturing. Those are the pieces we definitely have to talk about why you want to live here. I want them also to know why you want to do business here. So that timeline is going to be shared, and I'll work with Andy on that. I'll send it to him as I put that together.
That's good to hear. I think diversification would be
Yeah.
awesome.
We have a
I get
lot
it. Yeah.
that people don't realize. So why live here? Any other questions? I think a lot of stuff is in limbo, and I did read a snippet, I think it was just a published release of some of the ones that are going to be cut versus some of them that have the chance of making it. And you may know as well as no one really knows. I'm going to go through and I think the rural development grant is going to make it because there is a huge push to get funds to rural communities. And I hope that we survive it, but honestly, we don't know. Stacy, I don't know.
I work for the federal government. I don't know.
I know you're more connected though. See,
Kind of along the same lines as what Adam just said. I mean, like rural development, EDA, I mean, those are some of the ones that could potentially see elimination or reductions, but at this point, nobody knows.
yeah,
And even the federal freeze is not a freeze right now, but we expect to see some of that kind of get frozen in chunks now. Like they'll freeze it to assess it, and then we'll see what comes out of it after that.
All right. Thank you. Keep up the
yeah.
good work.
Thanks, you guys.
25 through 2030 county library plan.
So what's in the, let me get back to the agenda here. Last month, we talked about the draft county library plan that has to be done every 5 months. The library directors put that together, but in looking at that process, realized that really we need to have a county library planning committee that is responsible for that plan. And then they put together the update, have a public hearing, and then present it to us, the county board, for approval. We don't have a standing library planning committee to do that. So I put together, like I talked about last month, a resolution that's included in the packet to establish the committee. Goes through that this is under the, having a plan is required for us to be a part of the division or the library, Northern Waters Library Service, under Chapter 43. Chapter 43 outlines the library or the plan of service, as well as the county appointing a library planning committee, and what their duties are is established in statute. And that they would be responsible for this plan, putting it together for the 5-year period and then reviewing it annually. What I put in here can be changed, but my recommendation is that the library planning committee be made up of 8 members, which would include the 8 members that we already appoint. We appoint an individual to the Sherman Ruth Weiss Community Library, the LCO Ojibwa College Community Library, and the Tice Public Library. So those 3 individuals, along with the library directors for each of those libraries, along with the 2 individuals that we appoint to the Northern Waters Library Service, would make up the 8. And then advisory to that committee would be the Director of Northern Waters Library Service and the county administrator. 8's an unusual number because it's even, but I think for this purpose, it's fine unless you want to amend or add to that. But they would, the library plan for the next 5-year period has essentially been put together by the library directors. This, to kind of stop that process, they'll appoint the committee. The committee can take that plan, edit, adopt it as it is, hold the public hearing, and then send it back to us for county board adoption.
would it benefit to add somebody from the municipalities of these areas? Like for the city, for a tribal board member, and then for somebody from the city of Winter? I mean, is the onus just on the county and not?
Adoption of the county library plan is on the county.
Okay.
Yep.
But there's nobody that has to be on there from the municipalities that,
Doesn't have to be, doesn't mean that you couldn't add to it.
okay.
That can certainly be, if you want to add members to it or change, that's fine. I just kind of needed to get something out.
Yeah, I don't know if
On
it
the
needs to be
table.
overcomplicated. It sounds like it needs to be done.
We just push this down. It's scheduled the full county.
Yep.
I want to make a motion. We move this resolution to the county board for approval.
I'll second that.
Motion by Randy Newman, second by Stacy Hessel. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, so moved. Motorized trail report.
Good morning, Kathy LaRue, Sawyer County Snowmobile and ATV Alliance. We did get a little snow, so things are looking up. Right now on the Travel Wisconsin site, there are actually, 18 counties listed as open or partially open. 3 of them are open and in good condition. That's Bayfield, Iron, and Vilas counties. We join the next group. Sawyer County is open and in fair condition we share that with 4 other counties. I think we're on the cusp of being good, but we really do need a little bit more snow. The trails barely have a base. So, and we have a lot of rocks. Sawyer County is known for rocks. Price County is open, but in poor condition. And then we have 9 counties listed as partially open. An interesting thing that I've learned from talking to several businesses throughout the county, of course, the businesses on the flowage are probably doing good. They're not doing great or exceptional, as you might think. They're just telling me they're doing good finally. They've lost a lot of time, with January though. Some of the outlying businesses are telling me that they're having a worse year than last year though. Due to the fact that last year you couldn't ride anywhere, but this year people can go up to the UP, which is some locations are only an hour and a half, 2 hours away. A lot of people have been traveling up there to ride. We're hoping that doesn't become a trend because it is so close. So that's all I want to say about that. Other than that, ATV, as far as the ATV trails close, the UTV trails have closed on the county forest once snowmobile grooming begins, but they still have a lot of riding opportunities throughout the entire county. So we have, they can get through to the other Schwamigan trails. You can ride those. LCO. We are seeing some, ATVers and UTVers up here, but we're hoping for more snow so that the snowmobile season picks up. I don't know if you have any questions.
Are you saying more resorts doing events on their lakes with the ATV, UTVs? I saw Deerfoot had one and it looked pretty awesome.
Yeah. There's been more of that. They're trying to come up with innovative ideas to draw people to the area in case we have a poor snow year. It's been 2 years in a row. Hopefully it won't continue. But when you look over the history of snowmobiling, there have been years like this or times where we've had, a couple poor years. It's affected manufacturers, it's affected, it just goes down the line, it affects everything, from manufacturers down to rentals and sales, trail pass. We're far down on trail passes this year, which makes it 2 years of tight funding through AWSC for our trail maintenance. So we're looking at increasing fees, registration and trail pass fees. We haven't come up with a set figure yet, but that's sure to come over this next legislative cycle. That's it.
Now hang in there. It's tough.
There's nothing else to do.
All right, what can you do, right? Thank you. Tom, non-motorized.
Okay. So I've given you each a note from Ben. That was done on Thursday evening. At that time, it looked like the race certainly is going to go on, would run from Telemark to Double O and back. Since that time, of course, we had the snow. It now looks like they'll go all the way to Hayward. I was down this morning to Wheeler Road, and there's a good base of snow there from Wheeler Road to the lake. So there's plenty of snow to cover the main street, John McHugh says. So, and the weather forecast looks like cooler weather, so we're not going to have any melting and maybe get a little more snow. So it looks like we'll be able to go all the way to Hayward. That decision is going to be made today. Hopefully it'll be positive, and we'll finish on the main street. Telemark has been busy. There's been lack of snow in the Midwest, so all the races have been moved to Telemark, or many have. So they've been swamped with requests to have races up there with the man-made snow. So we keep our fingers crossed. I guess we have a little better news than Kathy's got, but it looks like we're going to be able to pull it off. And today we'll know for sure. So
Inching our way back from last year. Okay,
right.
thank you. Andy, broadband update?
So the two endorsements that we made, they've been supplied with letters of endorsement and the resolutions that they need. We did get a contact from a third company last week that I think we'll be having a conversation with them. I'm not aware of them, or they reached out to us, to Liz, about interest in an endorsement or broadband in Sawyer County. As far as I know, they don't have any other projects in this area, but we'll working on setting a call up with them right now. I did meet with BevCom just to see where they're at. BevCom, we have done broadband projects with them with the ARPA dollars. They're still finishing those up. They're in the kind of the Ojibwa, Exland, Coudray, Radisson area where we partnered up with them. Even though they opted not to participate in BEAD, they just didn't. They had their own reasons for not pursuing BEAD funding, but they are continuing to grow their network. They're moving further north into the, I guess, area adjacent to the Chippewa-Flowage, and then moving east from Ojibwa over towards the winter area. So they'll continue to grow their broadband subscribers without any grant assistance. So those are some of the gaps that we still have. So it's good that they are planning to do that.
Any board appointed committee updates? Move on, Historical Society.
Well, we do have a few developments coming up. We are getting ready for spring soon. We plan on putting a fence around our logging sled outside and replacing the sign outside. We're working on trying to get a gangster display inside in the basement, all about the gangsters in the area. We do, I think, have a new board member in Dick Pfister. He's agreed to be on our board. We have had a couple of things come in for our collections. One of our board members is getting a bunch of short videos from the 1940s, like a video of the flood and things like that. And there's a lady, an elderly lady that has all these, and she's been sending us some of them. And well, she's like in Arkansas or something. I forgot just where he said she was. But we did authorize one of our board members, if they have to go down there and copy all these discs. and any other things that she has. We also got a nice collection in the mail from a lady in Oklahoma. It is about Camp Big Sheep. You know, if anybody ever heard of Camp Big Sheep, it was a boys' camp here from like 1926 to 1945. It was originally called Camp Big Sheep and then changed to Camp Coudray. It was on Grindstone Lake and Johnson Lake. It was for boys basically from Chicago, from like 7 to 17, I believe it was. It was run by owned by a former Army major, Radowitz, his name is, or something like that. But we got all kinds of things. A lot of pictures, posters, banners, brochures. It's quite a nice collection. Little pins with their logo on it. A lot of the pictures we copied and took them over to LCO because they had a number of the native chiefs had their picture taken there. Chief Rain in the Face, Chief John Frog. There were several others. A bunch of Native American pictures because the camp did border right up against the reservation, and I understand a number of the people from the reservation worked there. The cooks were ladies from the reservations, and so this went on, like I said, at least from 1926 to 45. And we are getting ready now for our spring opening, which will be Memorial Day. We go on our summer hours, Thursday through Saturdays from noon to 4. And that's about all we have. And any questions?
Oh, sounds good. I like that you're saying spring, except for the snowmobilers. It's not Russian. And Berkey. Any correspondence, reports, conferences, meetings? Any future agenda items? Maybe we should discuss that student thing a little more next month, at least for discussion. Anything else? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.